Hey, welcome. So excited. Hopefully, you're having a great Thursday. What is it, 4 o'clock there on the Pacific Standard Time over on the West Coast, and then it's already 7 o'clock after dinner time on the East Coast, so a little bit everywhere. Let's see. I can't see again who's writing and who's not, so apologize if you join us. I appreciate you just letting us know if you're watching it replay or live. And it's always more fun to have more people on here when it's live than on the replay. Let me see if I click on this, if that helps. And all right, so we're going to get going here. I just give it a couple minutes. My wife's going to also have this streaming on our Sealy Guy page, so we get more, we get a little bit more viewers. So that'd be good. Again, we are here in Keystone, Colorado. I'm doing these every Tuesday and Thursday at this time, which is 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And as people come on, maybe I move this over on the other side. I can see, nope, I still can't see who's joining us. So I know there's some people on here, but for whatever reason, I'm doing this on Google Chrome. Hi, Elka. I'm doing this on Google Chrome. And so I just having some issues trying to figure this out. And the only way to figure it out is when you go live. So let me go ahead and get started. I might have some people join. I posted on a networking group a few days ago. I posted this question because we were at a seminar many years ago, and a very successful person who went on to make $1 million per month. $1 million per month. That's a lot of money, right? And so when somebody's making that kind of money and they have some words of wisdom to share, it's worth writing down, right? And I came across this in one of my journals not too long ago, and it had me think about it. And, so I posted it on this networking group. And it was really interesting because the way that most of the people responded missed the whole point of the question. So here's the question. 5 years from now, what will you wish you had done today? Not where you want to be 5 years from now, but in other words, if you take a look at your life today and then you look back 5 years ago, is where you are today where you thought you would be 5 years ago. If there's something you could have done 5 years ago to have brought you a little bit further along to the point where if you've had some goals or desires or visions and you missed them, is it because you weren't doing something 5 years prior? Missing something. All right. So that's kind of the topic for this one today. 5 years from now, what you wished you had done today? All right. Now, the number one question to first start off with, are you a procrastinator, right? Because if we procrastinate, then we never get started, right? So that could definitely lead to something why you didn't achieve a goal or a vision or something along those lines because you kept putting it off for another day. There's a great audio from Jim Rohn, and he's talking about all the reasons why a person is telling him why they can't get started with their business. It's Christmas time, it's the holidays. Nobody wants to have anything to do with the business during the holidays. And then when January comes, I'll get started. Oh, January, oh man, everybody's worrying about paying their bills, right? And da 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 going on. And then you got February, and then you got March, and then you got Easter, and it's just one thing after all. Now the kids are out of school. Right? Oh my gosh, the hinges fell off the storm door in the back. I got to go fix that. In other words, always having a reason or an excuse not to get started today. And that's procrastination. And we're all really good at it. I used to be a prime procrastinator. Hey, Ashley, that's 2 times in a row you joined us. I'm so happy to see you. That's my daughter. I love her so much. 2 beautiful grandkids and a wonderful husband. They live out there in the PA area. So anyhow, so that is the first challenge. Are you a procrastinator? And with any of this stuff I'm going to talk about over the next 15 minutes or so, I'm already running out of time, and about the next 15 minutes or so, are things about that force you to look at yourself in the mirror. It's really easy to blame outside forces, and sometimes there are situations that happen beyond our control, but how we deal with them is really, really important as well, right? So when I had posed that question to this networking group, most of the people were responding with where they see themselves 5 years from now. And that's wonderful too, but that's not the purpose of the question. The purpose of the question is, what can I be doing right now that's going to get me towards where I want to be 5 years from now? But the way it's written, it's a little bit of brain. What did you say? 5 years from now, what will you wish you had done today, right? You got to envision the picture where you want to go, first of all. And this same gentleman who was earning $1 million a month, not when I was learning from him. When I was learning from him, he was around 6 figures a month, but he went on to earn $1 million a month. And another thing that he said is pre-play, not replay. One of the things we tend to do in our lives, which is not very mentally healthy, is we play back a recording of something that already happened. And remember, you got no control over what happened. You have control over how you deal with it, but you don't have any control of the events that actually happened, right? But we play that over and over again. Oh man, I wish I would have done this. Oh my gosh, I wish I would have done that. Blah, 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 right? That is not going to help you build towards your future unless you're doing so only to learn the lessons learned, execution errors, how can I be better the next time. What this gentleman proposed was to pre-play, and that is running a movie of your future, right? Seeing it over and over and over again in your mind's eye before it actually happens. Now this is biblical. All the self-help gurus, they all say the same thing, right? Is you have to envision where you want to go in order for it to happen. The architect has the thought and the idea in his mind, then he puts it to paper, right? And then the building becomes what it is. So anything that's going to be created, which includes your future, right? Anything that's going to be created has to be in the mind's eye first. So this pre-play, that's something that really, really stuck with me that this gentleman said. And then Elka was just reading something yesterday, and she was talking about how important it is. We talk about seeing a picture of the future, but what she was reading from was talking about making it a movie. So you want to make it bright, crisp, clear. You want to have colors behind it. The more vivid, the more real you can make it, then the more the potential you have of making that happen within your life. So the first question is, 5 years from now, what will you wish you have done today? All right. Then, are you a procrastinator? Now, the next question I'll throw out, and please let me know if you're watching live, if you're watching a replay. Let me know why you tuned into this, what you're getting out of it. And then also, if you'd be so kind, I would love to hear your answers to these questions as well, right? Even if you're watching the replay, still do so. And if you would like a conversation, we can get into that as well. But name one thing you've yet to do, but said you would. So whether you're a procrastinator or not, here's a great question to ask yourself. Again, this is looking at yourself in the mirror. I'm doing this myself. I practice what I preach, okay? Name one thing you've yet to do, but said you would. And we all have something along those lines, right? And so then that is going to lead me to this question. When you look back 5 years ago, okay, so 5 years prior, so this is 2021, so that would be 2016, February 2016, did you see your financial situation today better than it is? Or is your financial situation worse than you thought it would be? Or are you about where you expected? And that will say a lot about those first two questions. Are you a procrastinator? Name one thing you've yet to do but said you would. Because in order to have bettered your financial situation, the only way you can do that is you have been progressing, right? Generally, you have to grow personally. Even if you're in a job, in order to get advancements in the job, or maybe it's with savings and how you're treating your money, spending it, and everything else, right? So when you look at now 5 years down the road, what will you wish you had done today that you didn't? Or, and this is a thought-provoking question, to say, hey, wake up. All right. I need to start doing this now so that I can achieve where I want to be 5 years from now. That's really the intent of this question, right? Where do you want to be 5 years from now? What is it going to take starting today to get yourself into action to make that happen? When we're talking about wealth and finances, I love this definition of wealth. And it's been described by how long you can survive at your current standard of living if you quit your job today. In other words, you're 50 years old and you're going to live to 80. So the next 30 years, you quit your job, and for the next 30 years, can you continue to live at your standard of living? I love that definition of wealth because we get very accustomed to our standard of living, and then oftentimes, especially with a job, you retire, now your pay is cut in half or less, or maybe no pension at all, and you've got to learn how to adjust to that if you haven't piled up enough money to be able to live off and maintain that lifestyle. That's one of the things that Elke and I have been very actively pre-playing, and how we can always stay ahead of the game to make sure that we have enough income coming in. For instance, we obviously retired from Southwest Airlines 7 years early now because of our Sealy by Design business. We moved from Phoenix, Arizona here to a more expensive living area, if you will. General expenses are much higher here in Colorado than they were there in Phoenix, Arizona, where we moved from. But we have been pre-playing how to manage all this, and obviously through our business is one of the things that was able to come help. So I really am kind of excited to share with this because I love doing a little bit of show and tell along the way. So I'm going to do that next, but I'm going to recap the 3 questions so far that I've asked you. Are you a procrastinator? Name one thing you've yet to do but said you would. And then as you look back 5 years ago, are you where you thought you would be today? Whether it's finances, job, whatever, I kind of pick finances, all right? So those are kind of 3 questions. You want to throw me out some of your answers on that. And if you don't want to share it, you can send me a private message as well. And if you ever want to start a dialogue, I'm pretty much open to that. So one of my other mentors, who also now owns the company that we're associated with, Sealy by Design, is Mr. Brad Hager. And one of the things Mr. Brad Hager had me do many years ago was to start writing out my life story. My perfect life is what he called it. It's so cool. So you think about having a vision, playing it as a movie with bright colors and making it crisp and clear and vibrant with sounds, and then pre-playing. This is an awesome, awesome exercise. And I started reading. I came across my old journals. I asked Elke where they are. She knew exactly where they were. I went and pulled them out. And I was blown away how much I've got here. And that's what I wanted to kind of show you. So the very first day that I started this exercise was on the 15th of May, 2011. So that's 10 years ago. That's how long I've been working at this, right? Well, I've actually been working at this longer. You know, I mentioned on the last one on Tuesday that the network marketing is a personal growth plan. Personal growth. Oh my gosh, can't even think of the words right now. It's personal growth with a compensation plan attached to it, right? It's personal growth program with a compensation plan attached to it. In other words, you can make money as you're growing personally. So we've been in this industry for 20 years. I've been doing this kind of stuff for 20 years. I got all kinds of journals here that I was pulling out and kind of going back through. But I wanted to show you these because this was me writing out my perfect life. And I don't know if you can see this, but it goes page after page. And then the next day, and I write it all out again. And I did this every day. If you can see that. I filled this one up. But I did this every day. And then I ran out of pages in that notebook. So I grabbed another notebook. Now we're into 22 May. So I started this, what did I say, on the 11th of May. Now I'm on the 22nd of May. And you can see how tiny the print is too, right? And again, this thing, look at how tiny that print starts getting. And I'm just writing on my life story. Where do I see myself gonna be, right? Fill up this notebook of this, and then had to get another notebook, right? So my perfect life, here it is. Now we're into October of 2011, right? and I just write it all out, and I would write it out again, and I'd write it out again, and I would write it out again, and I would write it out again and again, and then, here's another book. On this one was, sorry, thought I had it ready to go. Somewhere around, it was over a year's time that I did this every single day for a year. Okay, let's just say a year. I'm not going to waste your time with that. So for every day for a year, I wrote out my life story, my perfect life. Where do I see myself 5 years, 10 years from now, right? Then I picked it up again 2 years later. In May of 2013, I started it again because life changes, right? We get into different places. You can see how tiny this print is because I got more and more in detail of what my life is going to look like. And here's the point of all this. Here Elka and I are now. So it just goes, it's going to, it just keeps going on. Here's Elka and I now, 10 years later, living the life of our dream. Did we know how this was going to happen? No. But a lot of what's in that writing I just shared with you is happening today because took the time to pre-play my future, to design the future that I want. More people, and this is true, this is factual, more people spend more time planning their vacation, their 2-week or 10-day vacation, than they do planning for their life. And I love taking vacations, right? And I'm the same way, man. I plan out a vacation and I love doing that. You spend a lot of money on a vacation, why not, right? But why not do that for your life, right? So here's another one. If you had a crystal ball, if you could design your future, your perfect life, what would it look like? And that's the whole point of this question. 5 years from now, what will you have wished you had started or done today to improve your life 5 years from now? We were just on the chairlift earlier today skiing with some friends that actually got started with us in the business. I'm so excited, Tamara and Laura, that you got started with us today. They came over early, had some coffee, we started talking, and they ended up joining us with Sealy by Design. But we're on the chair and they started talking about Bitcoin. If anybody, I know we got a lot of people on here that have been in Bitcoin or in Bitcoin. If you're not familiar with Bitcoin, it's cryptocurrency. It's a whole new type of currency. It's been around for many years, but it's really starting to be taken on by the masses. And this is so important. How am I doing on time? Oh my gosh, I'm over time. All right, but I gotta cover this story, or maybe I should leave it for the next live. I'll leave it for the next live. All right, but Bitcoin. I'm going to talk about on the next live. I'm going to talk about Bitcoin. Because when you think about like what Elka and I are doing with the CBD business and related to Bitcoin, it will maybe open your minds. And if you're not familiar with Bitcoin, when Elka and I got into Bitcoin about 4 or 5 years ago, we paid $500, I think, or $600 for the first set of coins and $700 for the next set of coins. Those coins now are worth around $50,000 a piece. But that's something I'm very happy we did 5 years ago to help project where we want to be today. Did we know that was going to happen with Bitcoin? No, nobody knew, right? And the same thing's about to happen with the CBD world. We are right now at the ground floor of CBD and what's going on with this. I've made some recent posts about the ECS, the endocannabinoid system. Folks, this is the most important system in your entire body. It regulates everything else. So the CBD helps manage that, but our products actually give you direct cellular nutrition. It's a mitochondrial blend. It's a glycobiological blend. It's a mineral blend, 54 trace and macro minerals in it as well. And then it's got CBD and CBG, zero THC. There's no THC in any of our products. And then it's also got these really powerful herbs. So it's a complete nutritional, right? It's so good for your body. And we are at the ground floor of this. When I showed them, there's still less than 5,000 people in our company. It's the ground floor. This is like being able to see what Bitcoin was 5 years ago when we got in it. Who would have thought that from $700 coin it'd be worth $50,000 now for a coin, right? And that's what I'm letting you guys know too. That if you get started with us, in Sealy by Design. I can't promise you anything, but I can certainly tell you this. You miss 100% shots that you don't take. This shot is worth taking, and for $100, we got a February special. You get a sampling of all our products. You get a position. Whether you want to build it or not is totally up to you. But I'm telling you, once you get on these products, you start experiencing the business potential here, you're going to want to build because it's awesome. It has allowed us to bring all of this to fruition. So with that being said, thank you so much all of you for tuning in. I wish I could say hi to you as you join. I'm not seeing you, but I know you're here because I can see the number of people on. But anyhow, I'm just wishing you a wonderful Thursday night. Again, I'll be doing this again Tuesday night, or Tuesday, same time, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with a new topic. Wishing you all a great night. Bye-bye.